Oh no. This recording? Oh, it is recording. Hi, vlog. So today I basically kind of like slept in. Wednesday I was supposed to study model with purpose, and then today, Friday, I was supposed to study model with purpose. But Thursday and Tuesday I was really busy. So like Tuesday I had like the 10 management and Chicago fashion panel. And then Thursday I went downtown and I did like this study thing. So I did a really cool BMI thing. So I actually got my height and weight measured like scientifically. So that was actually really cool. And then I also got a breakdown of that. And I can insert that in this actually. But I had that happen, so that was really nice. And then I also had gotten my finger pricked so that I could get my stress hormones like measured and things like that. So that was kind of nice. And that took up majority of my time on Thursday. And because the test was so long and they asked like a variety of questions about mental health and like how you're doing, what you're up to, a bunch of things, it took a lot out of me, I believe. And then today, Friday, which is the day after yesterday, I basically just like allowed myself to kind of wake up a little bit late. I still had to wake up at a certain time because I had therapy with my therapist through Northwestern at the Family Institute. I'm actually thinking about signing up at the Family Institute for the free clinic though, because I heard that, or like the sliding scale, because it is really expensive keeping up with their therapist who's not in network. So there's that. But yeah, so today I talked to my therapist and it's our second time meeting, so that was really nice. It's going well, but I do have concerns about like if it's going to be sustainable, because I don't want to like just pull out money even though I know it's going to be like a crunch because I feel like I urgently need care, which I do feel that I urgently need care in a sense because I've been like trying to find a therapist for like the last 3 years actually, like 2.5 years, but it's going to be 3 years coming up in June. So that's a pretty long time away, but 3 years essentially. So no, I'm just going to stick with 2.5. It's a little less than 2.5 because we're still in November. But I know that you guys get my point. And if you've ever tried looking for a therapist, like one that is a solid therapist, then I know that you understand exactly what I'm going through. Because it does take a lot just to even like to be dating therapists, especially because it does have like a mental health aspect to it. So it's not like you're just meeting new people, which is similar, but it's not the same because, you're coming to these people asking for healing essentially. So yeah, that was my day to day. And then I kind of just relaxed. I didn't study at all for my model of purpose journey. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that. And I was going to study for my model of purpose journey today, but I decided that I ought to just take it easy. So I've had like a really hectic week. So that's kind of where I am with that. And I feel pretty good about being myself and just sticking to my guns. Because I wanted to finish my project with Model of Purpose like November 25th. And I think I set that goal all the way back in like mid-October or the beginning of October. Because originally I think I said the 15th, yeah. So I did that mid-October and then I changed it to the 25th about a few days later in my October. And you know what? I wish I actually would have given myself maybe like a schedule. And it's hard for me to stick to schedules because I feel like those deadlines put a lot of pressure on me. But I think if I create a schedule with extra time, like infused, that could really allow me to like flourish. Because so far I've been doing it without a schedule because I was telling myself, I'll just go into Model with Purpose and I'll study when I have time. And I think that would have worked if my schedule wasn't so hectic the last week and a half. And if I wasn't already in other classes, so right now I'm taking other classes for my schooling, like data analytics. I'm learning Power BI, which is also data analytics, Tableau, data analytics, and the big one, my PMP. So I'm trying to get my PMP, project management certification, and that's really big in the business world and just learning the ins and outs. And then I'm also trying to get my agile certification, my agile scrum leading safe certification. So like that's another business practice. So there's waterfall and then there's agile, and different businesses work in different ways, but those are usually the two ways people manage projects and do business essentially. So I've been having to learn a lot about business, and I've been taking like a lot of the business classes on top of just model with purpose, which is also another business class, but this one's a bit more specific to my industry and specifically modeling. And in this other case, it's more about like corporate America. But I've realized that like both of them are kind of intertwining because it's like mentality. A lot of it's mentality. Even though there's a lot of like jargon, a lot of it comes down to mentality. And I feel like I'm starting to realize, okay, if I really want to take this serious, I'm going to have to like create a schedule. And I don't even know how to create a schedule properly because it's like, how much time can I really study for without like getting winded? And that's kind of my worry, is that like I won't be able to be consistent, to be honest. Like I'm scared that I'll get burnt out. And I've been burnt out before, and I feel like I don't want to be in a position where I get burnt out again, because that's like really scary for me, because like when I'm burnt out, I'm literally burnt out. Like I cannot do anything. Like, and for me being someone who's really ambitious and like super high functioning, at least, I need my energy and my vitality to like be consistent. So lately I've probably been thinking of probably pushing my dates back for when I want to finish, one, to make sure it all like gets done with no pressure. And then two is like probably seeking out maybe a coach, or just seeking out help, or like just maybe just using ChatGPT, or going to the library, or maybe like reading study articles. But I definitely been in the mindset of, okay, I think I need to seek help or have some kind of third space, some kind of space or environment that allows for me to like tap in, log in, lock in. And most times people will be like, well, just be consistent, just be disciplined. And I agree. But the thing is I think that my discipline and my consistency, even though it's reliable and it's faithful, it's oftentimes come from a place of like shame, or it's come from a place of like trying to keep up. And I was just at panel the other day where they're all talking and things like that. I'm starting to realize like, okay, in order for me to like really win at this, I'm going to have to come at this from a calm approach. I'm going to probably have to come at this from like an intrinsic approach, like a real desire. And I'm probably going to have to build that desire up, honestly, because yeah, it's important, but I definitely feel that I'm going to have to really build up that desire and build up that want, and that would keep me going. Because if I'm doing it from a place where I feel obligated to, or pressured really, and I thought about this the other day at the panel, because I went to this panel the other day and I talked to you guys about it already, but I kind of realized that if I'm constantly forcing myself to do these things, like it really is gonna burn me out. Because that's how I got burnt out last time, is that I was really forcing myself to do different things. And you know what, I applied this, like the theory, I'm not sure if you guys saw my other blog, but if you didn't see it, I basically was talking about my time at the Chicago fashion panel at Columbia College, and there, one of the talkers, one of the panelists, they talked about the idea that you have to be bored to be creative. And I thought that was kind of cat, but essentially is what she's saying is to be calm. To be calm, you have to be creative, you have to be calm. Yeah, you have to be calm to be creative. In my mind, I always thought you had to be like hustling to be creative. Like that's when the best ideas come out, or pressured, or under pressure, or stressed, or in a chaotic environment. And you know what? Those can work too, because that posits creativity as well. But like deep, sustainable creativity is more than likely going to come from like a calm environment. And you know what? I think that's true only because of the fact that like when I think of these artists who like were starving artists and they became real artists, like painters or even rappers, but in this case painters, maybe not rappers, because you know what? A lot of them, they end up doing this from survival mode, and I feel like a lot of them end up getting caught up in different things as well. And not all the time, but I do feel like there is a tendency for things like that to happen. But when we hear about these artists, like these painters and stuff, like these painters, they came from nothing and they really focused on their craft. And in this case, I'm in the era of focusing on my craft, like the business, the ins and outs, learning business, learning how this industry works, both from a business and technical standpoint, which is, you know, part of my education, but also from like model with purpose, which is my main focus. Is, well, model with purpose tied with just my education in general is my main focus right now. But model with purpose in this specific case, like a main focus of mine is like understanding the ins and outs from my personal perspective, because a lot of times I feel like there's information that's out there and it doesn't really give you a clear idea of how to navigate. Like it gives you information, but the information that's there, it's almost like jump. Like it's telling you, do this, sign with the agent, take your digitals, do this, but it's not really explaining why. And when they do explain why, it's just saying things that are kind of like surface level, like make sure your hair looks good and make sure your pictures are okay or well lit. And anybody can easily do that. It's almost like the marketing advice that we get on TikTok, like, or Instagram, where people are like, be authentic and post high quality content. Like a lot of times that's really superficial because it's almost insulting to a certain extent, because it's like, okay, yeah, obviously post high quality content, like we're not dumb, but it's like how, what are the methods in which to do that, you know? And I feel that I'm in a time now where I'm focusing on model with purpose and wanting to understand the industry. I'm focusing on my technical skills, my data analytics, so I can be good at the social media stuff too, for not only for myself, but also for like other brands and companies that I want to work with. Because I want to be multifaceted. I don't just want to be a model. I want to also be like a writer, someone who's an editor even. Maybe work at Vogue, maybe be a social media person for Vogue and also be a model. Like I feel like that would be kind of ideal in a sense, like a model with a 9 to 5. And like I don't know, I feel like it's kind of authentic to me, especially like the way my family's set up and things like that. So I feel like that would be like a really nice thing to like have set up, just a lifestyle to have set up. Or even if it's part-time, because like social media, you know, you can almost automate to a certain extent, I believe, in my personal opinion. And yeah, just in general, like I said, I'm focused on my education, and I know in order for me to do that, I'm gonna have to do it from a calm state of mind. Because in order for me to like get to these classes and pass these classes and understand these classes and have the mastery over these classes, I'm realizing now like I'm really gonna have to make a lot of changes in my mentality and in like the way I work and do things, even small things. Because like if you're coming from like a scrambled mindset or like a hasty approach or like a hustle approach, someone who's hustling is probably going to be getting McDonald's, like to eat food, versus someone who's approaching it from a calm mindset. They're more than likely going to be buying groceries, even if it's just ramen noodles, like shrimp ramen noodles. So they're about, or pasta, turkey pasta. They're more than likely going to be buying $22 worth of groceries and eating that same turkey pasta through the whole week. Versus like someone who's in hustle culture or survival mode, or like just kind of under pressure, like gotta get it, which is usually where I'm at, which I realize is probably like not helping me with a lot of stuff and causing me more stress both mentally and physically, because I feel that Black women, especially, they deal with like stress in a way that's more like under pressure. And yeah, I realized that for me, something that I do is like, instead of buying actual food and groceries, I'll go out and I'll buy like these little knickknacks, this and that, to satisfy me. Starbucks to satisfy me, McDonald's to satisfy me. When that, like, at the end of the week, it'll end up costing more. Or another thing that I did when I was in college and that I do now is I'll do these all-nighters. Like, I'll pull these all-nighters so that I can like stay on top of homework and stay on top of like tasks and things that I have to do. But the thing is that that's actually hurting me, because the person who's sleeping their 8 hours is like gonna be alert. And I can't even, and the thing with it is that I'm not even able to compete with people who are like actually taking care of themselves, because the fact that I'm not taking care of myself. Yeah. And I'm gonna read something